Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm in I'm in the frame properly. There we go. It's down in the morning. It's 9:30. So, like I said yesterday, if you see my video, which is gonna be scheduled for the next couple days. When I make a video, um, in the afternoon, it's sunny and the sun is hitting to the window, and so it's hard for me to film the video, and it's very hot. The temperature is like 35 degrees Celsius. That's like 90 something Fahrenheit. So very hot, and it's hard for me. Actually, I just learned how hot it is. Like, I was talking to my friend yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, it's really hot in Uganda." And then I'm like, and I'm reading about the districts, the temperature of Uganda. The average, the lowest is 63 and the highest is like 86. So this guy says it is hot over there. I'm like, you guys, it's not hot. Like, it's really hot here, like 90 degrees, 100 degrees. So America's really hot. I never really thought about this for a moment, but we get really hot temperature. So anyways, when it's hot, my camera dies much quicker, and when it does, my videos become corrupt. So I have to also pause and cough. I don't know, like, from my learnings that in April I get allergies, then in May I guess I get to cough. So kind of strange. So I'm still, that means I'm still sick. So today's video is going to be talking about the predictive market. So last couple of weeks I was at Brookings Institute here in Washington DC, and this was the second time I have attended, and we were talking about predictive market. Okay, so predictive market, if you don't know what that is, predictive market is basically betting, sports betting. So historically, humans have been doing sports betting, right? You put the money, you predict the likelihood of something from happening, right? We do this in economics. That's why people are doing these policies at the Brookings Institutes are economists, right? Because economists do predict. Like, when I predict this will be the whatever, the GDP is gonna go up, right? Businesses do predict. When somebody builds a business, right? They predict the outcome. They always say something like, I'm gonna predict this, I'm gonna build this business, and then the outcome is going to be success or failure. So people been predicting for a long time. Okay, we do all predict. Christians predict that Jesus is gonna come, but they're not sure. Alright. When somebody is sick, they predict that they're gonna get better. When doctors treat a patient, they predict that the patient doesn't die, right? So that prediction happens all over our lives. Our lives is basically like a gambling. Okay, everything we do is almost gambling. Like, we do predict every single day, and usually people who do predictions are very smart. They are actually one of the smartest people, right? Not everybody, but those who do get involved into it, get to the high level, invest in stocks, invest in 401k, invest in those risk investors, right? The Elon Musk, whatever, those guys. These are high risk investors, and they usually do predict. They predict the outcome to be positive. So there's nothing wrong with the prediction. All right, I don't know how I got cough. I think I got exposed to some people. I've been getting exposed to many people, so I don't know how I got a cough. Usually I don't get cough as much. It's not really usual to get a cough, but I've been getting cough, so I take some medicine so that it can stop. So anyways, so predictive market is totally fine. It's been fine for a long time. People have been using it to predict the outcome, bets the money, what's likely Arsenal is gonna win over Manchester United, what's likely, something to happen, right? And usually the most popular predictive markets is the stock market, hedge fund, the cryptocurrency, the major events like music performance. Then obviously sports, soccer, football, and many other horses. These are huge prediction on horses. Lottery, state salary, right? America, what they call state salary, where people put in their money to win specific numbers, and they draw the numbers, right? If they don't win, then it keeps growing and going and going and going until the last person wins, right? So this is very it's perfectly normal in the United States, and some states do regulate, but some states do allow like freedom of prediction or sports betting. Some states do regulate it. For example, in Las Vegas, they banned lottery, but doesn't mean they don't do sports betting or they don't do casino betting. Las Vegas is the home for everything, right? Betting, sport, casino, prostitutions, right? Like it's very popular over there, so it's their main business. Areas like Delaware, they do regulate it to some extent. So, but in the recent years, a new man emerged. This man, his name is Donald Trump. Donald Trump comes from a background of gamblers. He's a really gambling guy and is very addicted, right? And because it makes sense, because he comes from a risk business background, which is real estate, right? If you think about it, real estate is like gambling, right? It's not the same thing as buying a house. When you're building houses, commercial houses, from an empty land, and you have to predict the likelihood people will come in and rent the offices and bring you returns, right? So it has to do with gambling. It has to do with being able to take risk, right? And the loss much higher. Okay, so that's what, from his popularity in 2016 and this day, has led to a huge problem of predictive marketing in the government. Since he been in the government, has been a situation where we have seen individuals involved in inside trading. Okay, you have government officials doing inside trading. You also have people from the outside coming in, having information from the inside, and then starts trading. You also have these trading companies that are using this leverage, are using this inside information to start encouraging other users to trade, even though they have no information of what's going on inside. Okay, so the average Americans, they lose, and those who have the information inside, they get to win, and they win a lot. Okay, to give an example, there was a betting on the election, okay, both in 2016 and in 2024 and in 2020. People would bet whether will Trump win or lose. People would bet whether a specific political party or a specific a Democrat or Republican will take over within the House. People could predict whether Trump will visit, a specific country. People could predict whether Trump will pass a specific executive order, right? And this prediction is go on, and people make a lot of money when decisions are made. Okay, the most consequential one is recently when a U.S. soldier, actually, this is a U.S. soldier. This is like a military soldier. These big soldiers who are fighting in Iraq, Iran, and even Venezuela. When a soldier who was going to be fighting on the battle bet on arresting Maduro, really, like, this is somebody who's betting if they're going to arrest Maduro. This is so real. I'm not making this up. Okay, this is the U.S. government. If you're watching this and you live like in Africa, like, just know that somebody in America can bet whether would the United States destroy Africa, and they can do it, so they can win. Okay, I'm gonna explain this in a few minutes. But this is soldier betting in the government and saying, I am going to bet If we can arrest Maduro or kill him, just arresting him, okay, I'm going to win. If we don't, maybe I lose, right? That's like a prediction. And he was found out and he got arrested, okay, now he's in jail. But you also have other predictions. For example, there was a prediction that Trump will attack Iran. Like that doesn't make sense. And this is Trump and his administration actually getting involved in it. You have members of Congresses and their family members and their friends and their staff. So my camera is getting really hot because of the window, and I have to move my camera over here. Hopefully it's visible. But anyways, so I also have to cough, so I'll turn my camera off. It's really bad when you're coughing. This is bad making videos in this spring. It's something to know. I'm gonna find out what I can do. But anyways, so we see the government officials really like doing betting on major events, betting whether will Trump deploy soldiers in Iran, betting whether will the stock market drop, right? Like it's unexpected, right? Will Donald Trump pass the tariffs on China? Will he increase the tariffs to a specific number? Okay, and doing that, if you hear this, you already know that this is going to influence the outcome, because I can right now like bet will Donald Trump visit China, and then I will just send an email and say, hey, can you visit China? Now, people who work in the government, like, or people who live in DC, like I don't work in the government, but I have an idea what is going on in the government. These people, how you don't know what to do with coughing, it's really bad. So anyway, so with the government, what I was saying, yeah, so I can just predict the outcome if Trump will go to China or not. Okay, I'm trying not to cough in the camera. That's getting really bad. Okay, I'm really trying not to cough, and I cannot edit the video, so I have to keep turning off and on. It's really hard. It's hard to make a video when you are coughing. Oh jeez, it's terrible here. It's terrible. So anyways, I'm trying not to cough. All right, so you get the idea of the predictive market, right? It's bad. We all know it's bad. These guys, they know it's really bad, right? It's bad in two ways. Number one, it's not ethical to bet on these people's lives or the outcome of an event, especially as a leader or as somebody who has an inside information. It's not ethical. And two, it's also not fair for the average American. Like if I do betting whether Donald Trump says something to China, right, and somebody who lives in America who does have no idea, they're not gonna know, right? So have a chances of winning, right? So these issues have been debating among the economists in the United States, whether it's ethical, whether there should be regulations. So recently, last time I visited Brookings Institute, they talked about it, and now the Congress, the Senate, the House, they banned themselves from try not to cough. They banned themselves from betting. Okay, so they banned themselves from betting. So recently they passed a resolution, and they voted themselves to stop inside trading. So no more inside trading, and the staff members who are, if you're a staff member, you work for Congress, member of Congress, and you're involved in sports betting, you're involved in inside trading, predictive market, you are banned from doing it. Yes, they don't do it anymore. But we all know these are lawmakers, so they have many ways of getting around it, right? They have many ways to get around it. But anyways, at this point, at least we know that the word is not really popular. It's not popular, right? It's not a popular debate. People don't really know because, like I said, normally this is not popular because sports betting or predictive market, okay, on major events is done by men. It's mostly popular among men, only men. And normally in the real world, we know things that are concerning to women, things like LGBTQ stuff, you know, women's rights, right? Social issues, you know, gender or versus racial problems, inequality. So people just focus on the things that are very easy, right? They don't know how to focus. They don't know how to talk about predictive market because predictive market is very complicated. It requires somebody with a background in finance or economics or statistics or math to be able to make a sense of it. It's pretty easy, but they use the terms that are so complicated, like swipes. The terms that are very complicated. People understand. Ledger, hedge funds, right? Those are very complicated stuff. Cryptocurrency, very complicated stuff, right? Stock market, very complicated stuff. The major outcomes, major events is very complicated. So people, the likelihood, what's the likelihood of losing, likelihood of winning? Okay, you have to know what percentage of losing is it, 90% losing, 80% losing, what percentage of winning, success versus failure, right? This is very statistical, and we know if you went to school as a guy, you know that majority of women are scared of statistics and economics. So men, when I went to Brookings Institute to hear this debate, there was almost very few women. There was only mostly men debating on this thing. So it's not a popular thing because people don't understand the complexity of it. All right. So one of the biggest challenge of predictive market, okay, even if the government was not involved, the people who are trading, okay, these trading companies, the Karshi and many other funds those are the companies that do trade, do put out the bid, and people start betting. They use what they call in economics or math or statistics binary. Binary is basically, if you do computer science or computer engineering, you know, like binary is zeros and one, okay? All our lives relies on zeros and one. When I was doing big data in my class here at the university, we dealt with zeros and one. Whether we do finance, we do zeros and one. Everything we do in life is based on zeros and one, okay? Everything, like the basic fundamental mathematic foundation was zeros and one, okay? You have 0, you have 1, okay? There's no 2, 3, 4, 5 million times nothing, just zeros and 1. The likelihood of me, you know, eating food today is zeros and 1. 0 if I don't eat and 1 if I do eat, right? This is called binary in English. I don't know how they call it in other languages. I don't know, like I don't understand it in other languages, but zeros and 1 is how the people predict the binary of something from happening. And major events, they use binary as a way of winning, and this is not good for people who don't have inside information. And here is how. So let's say let's say I'm the company owner, I own a sports betting or a betting company, predictive market company, and I bet and I say if Trump attacks Iran, then I win. That's 1. If he doesn't, that's 0. So the chance of Trump attacking Iran is 1. The chance of Trump not attacking Iran is 0. Okay, that's binary. Whether he attacks Iran fully, that's not a debate. Even if he throws a stone, he just attacked Iran, so I win. Okay, there's also like a stretch, right? Because from 1 to 0, between 1 to 0, or between 0 to 1, there's a percentages, right? It could be from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100. Okay, that could be either 10%, 20%, 10%. Okay, so you can also like debate based on percentages. Okay, what's the likelihood that 80% of the time Trump will attack Iran? Okay, that's even more complicated for people who don't understand very complex mathematics. What about stocks market? What's the likelihood that the stocks will drop? Okay, it doesn't have to be dropping really hard, but what's the likelihood that it's gonna drop? Okay, no date, nothing, just the likelihood of dropping if he attacks Iran. Okay, so people do that binary betting, and they lose a lot of money. Many men lose a lot of money because of betting, because of these predictive markets. All right, and so it gets even more complicated out there. Okay, so last week when this is like, I think last week, yeah, I think it was last week, when I was at the Brookings Institute, we chatted on whether we had the people who are actually doing the job. Like I understand this is so good because the week before that, the first debate, the Brookings Institute, they invited the Congress members and the lawmakers. So they were like talking about vague stuff, like we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. Now, predictive market is regulated by CFTC. Okay, I don't remember what CFTC stands for, but it does regulate all the predictive markets, hedge funds, and blah blah blah, whatever. So there's regulations out there, but under Donald Trump, when he cut the federal workers, he also cut the people who works at this organization that were supposed to be predicting or were supposed to be regulating the predictions. They're supposed to be overseeing these predictions. So there's less staff members. That means they can't do much. There's actually like 2 people, 3 people like that, like less than 5 people working for this job. And so that's why we see more and more and more prediction. That's why we see more and more government officials do whatever they want. They just put in the money, they predict, right? It's getting worse and worse and worse. So last couple weeks there was more like lawmakers making their own vague policies, whatever. We know, right? They are just talking, nothing gets done. But recently, the next meeting, Brookings actually brought the Karshi. Karshi is like one of the popular betting platform in the world. So one of the government affairs or something like that, the council, he was there. There was also another guy from Georgia, was a professor, and another guy, I don't remember, who's also like the leader of Karshi. So 3 guys. Also, they had a senator coming in. Senator was coming in for also to give his own remarks. So this gave us even a good idea, because we have people from the company, these people who do the sports betting, giving us an idea of what's going on in the company, what's happening, why do they let these politicians actually do betting? Did they think it's concerning? Did they think it's fair? Should there be a regulations? So I took some notes, and I've been taking so long to take a video about this. So today I'm gonna be going through these notes in a few minutes. But before I do that, let me drink some water. As you can see now, I've been recording for 9 minutes. I haven't coughed because I took the medicine, so I won't be coughing anymore. But you know, yeah, it's the allergies are still out there. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and it's funny that when I stopped recording, I did not cough at all. So I don't know why I have to cough when I'm talking, but I guess it's really weird. So I'm looking at an email right now. I just got an email from somebody, so this is an exciting email. So I've been sending out emails to recruiters, friends, families for their help for the job search. So I'm getting some email that they want to help me out. This is good. This is really good. So anyways, so let me go ahead and finish this story. So predictive market, no question about it, it's bad for the government. Okay, So one of the comments that came from one of these guys who are debating on stage says that, you know, folks who can manipulate the markets prevent certain classes like congresses bringing data like sports players. We can't touch everybody, so we have a team surveillance. Okay, so usually I have to put this into a ChatGPT and make some have like I don't know, like a summary of it, so that it does it. Because when I take notes, you know, when people are talking, I want to include some videos in here in this video, but when I take some notes, I have to be you know, I have to be I just have to figure out ways of sort of like summarizing it, whatever, right? So anyway, that's the predictive market for you. And you know, binary is not, it's been a big deal right now. It's been a big problem, and you figure out ways of regulating it, make sure it doesn't take advantage of the other people who are, you know, doing sports betting. So I just did put into the AI to summarize the notes that I took when I was at this debate. Karashi or Romero, they had the points. Okay, so the concern about insider trading and market manipulation by insiders, the Congress, others with difficulty to detect access, the enforcement, the surveillances, limits. You know, they say that one of the guys who represents Kashi said that you can't watch everyone. So exchanges need monitoring teams, and the regulators must strengthen detection. So remember when I said the Congresses, those are easy to detect. However, what about if I come an outsider, but let's say Trump is my friend, right? I hang out with Trump, we drink, we party, I'm a MAGA supporter, right, die-harder, but I have an inside information. Because remember, one of the people in the government, they have what they call clearance, which means they get information inside the government. If there's going to be an attack on Trump, they know these things. When you are a friend to the government, you have an idea what's going on. How do you regulate people like me? How do you regulate people who have the inside information? Okay, so according to this guy from Karshi, it's hard to detect, but they can try to form the team that is going to be able to watch and see people, because they've been banning people from the government from trading, so they can see these people, spot them, then ban them. Okay, polymakers, there was a polymaker also. One of the guy was a polymaker. It's gonna be in the middle. So the left side is Karshi. So the lady you will see on the video, the lady, she's the journalist at the Washington Post, I believe. Yeah, Washington Post. And then the guy on the guy following is the Karshi. Is the Karshi, you know, representing Kashi. Then the foreign guy is also the polymaker, and the last guy is a professor. So the polymaker, the poly market is also like one of the poly market, one of the you know, also predictive market out there, agrees with Kashi's concerns. He highlights that offshore crypto native structure that evades US rules and CFTC enforcement, regulators aren't doing enough to address offshoring. So there's an offshoring, there's people from outside get involved. Do you remember 2026? Do you remember 2016 when Russia involved in Trump's election using Facebook? That's real. This is not made up, right? Outsiders get involved. When the US has an election, people from other countries debate on the United States. When the US trying to do something like, let's say, bomb another country, US gets people from that side are not going to be involved. they get to debate, they get to make money. Okay, so everything in America has money making out of it. Okay, when there is an attack on the government, when there is I don't know what to say, but if there's if there's going to be an attack, let's say there's a war in Iran, somebody's benefiting from it. When the stocks drops, somebody benefits from it. Somebody makes money. Okay, when the prices go up, somebody makes money. When a political leader wins, whether it's good or bad, somebody makes money. When a political leader passes the tariffs or some kind of policy that hurts people, somebody makes money. All right. So this is the middle perspective. The agrees manipulation risks exist, but does not view the system as inherently rigid. So there is this guys, they're saying that there is a manipulation going on. It's true. Insider trading, the government officials, they get involved. They manipulate the market. That's real. But it does. These guys are saying that it does not mean that the system is rigid. Okay, so the system still is fine. Yes, they just need to be able to figure it out. So maybe I'm being dramatic. I don't know. And then sees these markets marketed as play to win, and the question is fairness and democratic implications, though consider the market body playable and of hopeless corrupt. Okay, so these guys are saying that everybody's playing to win, but there's a question of fairness and democratic implications. Why is it democratic? Is it fair? Okay, but it's not yet like super corrupt, so they shouldn't be like destroy. Okay, okay. So at the Brookings Institute, we had this took place. The first one was on April 14, but I think the one at April, I believe, was on May. Yeah, I was on May 12. All right. And the video is still out there. You can watch the video. Okay. So I'm going to do the description from Brookings Institute. When prediction market platform started launching in the early 2020, this is new. This is in 2020. They were considered just a new way to gamble on sports or future events. However, the contracts that they operate on act like financial instruments. The result is totally different, legal and regulatory structure. Recent events from members of the military wagering on combat actions, I mentioned this in my video, politicians buying contracts tied to their own elections. This is Trump betting on his own election. To people manipulating thermostats to change bets on weather. Like really, I can say, hey, is it gonna be raining or is it gonna be sunny? Is it gonna be super hot, 90 degrees, gonna be 80 degrees? You can really bet on those things. It's crazy. I've read some to argue that these markets are not fair and need further regulation. Others argue that technology behind these markets, this is AI, coupled with the fact that these scandals have come to light, show that existing regulatory forces are adequate, or at least that structures are in place to create markets with integrity and reliability. Okay, let me turn the camera off and I'll be right back.
Exists today, but it's not what I'd like.
So I'm back again. So on May 12, Brookings Center on Markets and Regulatory will hold a second in a series of events examining the rise of predictive markets. So they invited Senator Adam Schiff, he's a Democrat from California, and he was the author of bipartisan legislation, okay, on this subject. So I'm going to talk about this for a moment. He shared his perspectives, and then we had the panel experts there was the Council on Foreign Relations, also the guy was talking about the Council on Foreign Relations, Sam Henry Lazarus, this is the one for Kashi, The Council on Foreign Relations, Sam Henry Lazarus, is Georgia University's Todd Phillips. Then they had Karshi General Counsel and Chief Regulatory Officer Ricky Hislop. They debated on these things, and then we also have Crystal, who she was actually a Wall Street Journal, not Washington Post. She works for Wall Street Journal. So this was very, very good, and I want to go right now really quick and talk about each one of these. So the combat actions, this is where the debating happened. This is from CNBC, right? This is from CNBC, and it was published on April 24th. It's right here, right? I'm gonna read the key points. A U.S. Special Forces Master Sergeant, U.S. Special Forces Master Sergeant was arrested for allegedly using classified information. This is a classified information. These people have top secret clearance. This is what I need. But I'm not gonna be doing this, so trust me, if you give me a job as a government official, I won't be manipulating the market. I'll do the best thing, okay? Using classified information to make extremely profitable bets on foreign market prediction related to the American military mission that captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Okay, the Department of Justice said on Thursday, in April, the Sergeant Ganon Ken Van Dyck was involved in the planning and execution of Operation Absolute Resolve, which apprehended Maduro and his wife, Cecilia Flores, in early January, the DOJ said. Van Dyck, 38 years old, wagered a total of about $33,000. So I'm not making this up, okay? This is a lot of money. This is an entire wage of an American worker in a warehouse. In 13 or so bets in a week leading up to that operation, with the knowledge that the United States was secretly planning military action against Maduro. According to an indictment unsealed Thursday in the U.S. District Court in Manhattan, New York, the bets won Van Dyck nearly $410,000. This dude bets $32,000 on 13 bets, and he won $410,000. Not only is he getting paid to serve in the army, he also, Jesus Christ, I need a job in the government too. I'm telling you, like, I live in DC. This is what I came here for. I came here for my family, also from my African friends who don't go to school, who don't do other things, who don't care. The US government is corrupt. Like, they do these things every single day. It's normal. Like, it's like they are just paying our lives every single day. The arrest of Van Dyck, who has been on active duty in the army since 2008 under Barack Obama, comes as the foreign market and the currency have grown in popularity, and has concerns have grown about people with the inside information making wagers on those prediction market platforms. If I can remember, I might put this in the news in the comment, but I might forget. But if I do forget, just go to Google and search predictive market CNBC. It's gonna come up. Okay. But I'm not supposed to put the links in my channel because that's like advertising. So I don't know how to know. I don't know how that works. On Wednesday, also you can message me on LinkedIn. I can send you the information. Okay, I have a LinkedIn channel. Just send me. I have the link in my YouTube channel. On Wednesday, Karshi said it had suspended and fined 3 candidates of Congress from Minnesota, Texas, and Virginia for political insider trading activity on their own campaigns. This is real. Like, if I was making this up, like, that would be crazy. Polymarket in a statement Thursday about Van Dijk's arrest said, last month we published our enhanced market integrity rules to combat insider trading. When we identified a user trading on classified government information, we referred the matter to the DOJ and cooperated with their investigation, the company said. Insider trading has no place on Polymarket. Today's arrest is proof of the system works. But can I arrest the government officials who are like high level? We don't know. Van Dijk had been stationed at Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, North Carolina. North Carolina is one of the military friendly in the world, so they have the biggest military in the world, which houses U.S. military special forces involved in the capture of Maduro and his wife. So people who captured Maduro actually came from North Carolina. So North Carolina has the best army, okay, the best army in the world. I need to visit this area, Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He was expected to be presented Thursday evening to a magistrate judge in federal court of the Eastern District of North Carolina. The indictment says that Van Dijk is charged with unlawful use of confidential government information for personal gain, theft of non-public government information, commodities fraud, wire fraud, and engaging in monetary transaction, any property derived from specified unlawful activity. So why this is not popular in the news? Why don't women protest? Why don't women go out there and protest? Because they don't understand. Also, this is sexy. Some people, like people who are like very poor, this sounds so cool. Like, oh my God, betting $32,000 and they win $410,000. That sounds like a good thing. That sounds like smart. But this is why it's very important to have people who are educated. Because people are uneducated, they don't understand the consequences of these things. This is corruption. This is fraud. This is wire fraud. This is the market manipulation. Okay, this is not good. Okay, he faces a maximum possible sentence of 20 years in prison if convicted of the top criminal count, wire fraud, and up to 10 years in each of the remaining counts. Okay. Both the criminal and the civil cases against Van Dijk were filed in Manhattan Federal Court, the same courthouse where Maduro is charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy. Wow! Cocaine importation conspiracy and weapons charges, and where Flores is charged with cocaine conspiracy and weapons count. These are like Maduro and his family. The criminal indictment says that Van Dijk became involved in the planning of the Maduro mission on December 8. So Trump administration planned to attack Maduro, to arrest Maduro in December 8. On that day, the CFTC complaint says that Van Dijk received a classified information security briefing and executed a non-disclosure agreement in which he agreed never to divulge, publish, or revealed by writing, word, conduct, or otherwise to any unauthorized person any classified or sensitive information relating to U.S. Army Special Operations Command operations within the Western Hemisphere. This is the government planning to attack another country, and you have somebody betting on it. It's crazy. It's because this is and this is when we see the government, the U.S. government, laying off workers. So has to do with this information, right? Laying off workers left and right. Because CFTC arrested this guy, but how many people are there doing this? And they can't be arrested, right? Because the government laid off workers, there's not enough information. So on December 26, he created a Polymarket account and began trading on markets related to questions about Maduro and Venezuela, according to the criminal indictment. Van Dijk then made his bets on Polymarket between December 27 and January 2nd, the eve of the raid on Caracas, the capital city of Venezuela, that ended in Maduro's apprehension. All of those wagers took a yes position on contracts. Remember when I said binary Okay, binary is when you say yes or no, zeros or one. Okay, that's binary. Very computerized, very sexy stuff, very good stuff. Okay, very easy thing to understand if you do economics, math, physics, whatever that is. But if you don't do like math, this is why you need to teach math to people in the United States. It doesn't matter if you're a politician, it doesn't matter if you are social sciences, what does matter what do you do? People need to learn math. A yes or no is a big bet. Okay. So all of those we just took a yes position on contracts that said US forces would be in Venezuela by January 31st, 2026. Okay, so yes, with Maduro being, with the U.S. forces being in Venezuela by January 31st, this day, you see, yes or no. This is very specific for somebody who to a stupid person who lives in I don't know, West Virginia, who lives in Texas, like what can I say, like a random guy who lives in Texas might say, you know what, US is not gonna go to Venezuela, it's not gonna happen, I'm gonna bet, you know, $1,000 on this, right? It's not gonna happen. On 31st, how can that happen? But this guy has an information, this guy is a master, is a military general. He is betting, but look, he knows like it's gonna happen, like he knows, this is what we call insider trading, like he knows, like there is no. Okay, when the US Army is about to do something, like when Trump was going to attack Iran, it was a yes on this day, no going back, attack, like go. Right, so they have the information, they have an idea, right? So on this day, on this time, they can even bet on a specific time, because the US Army is so trained, like it is so trained that they cannot miss a single date. If you live in Africa, that's very slow countries, you know, Europe, Asia, those are slow countries. American Army is straight to the point. If it's 1:30 at 33 seconds, or the coordination is, it has to be done, they have to operate. No time delayed. They are super going, right? So you have somebody who have this information that they are doing these things. It's not fair for these folks, right? And then that Maduro will be out of office by that date, that the US would invade that country by January 31st. So US will be invading Venezuela on January 31st. Now I don't know what time it's supposed to be, because I don't think we have the same time frame. Hey Siri, does US have the same time with Venezuela? What time is Venezuela right now? So it's the same time, 10:36. We have the same time. So this is so easy. I didn't know that. So it's so they didn't have to worry about time. So on 31st, in Washington DC, at exact that time, in Venezuela, they'll be attacking Venezuela at that day or that time, on that date, January 31st. Or that President Donald Trump would invoke the War Powers Act against the country by that date, the document says. So it could either be an attack.
We had a hearing in the Judiciary Committee about sports betting. It kind of opened my ideas to the explosive growth of these prediction markets, and they seem pretty.
So I have to make a video here, because even though there is no good lighting, unfortunately my sitting room, which I was earlier, it's getting really hot because the sun is hitting from the east side to the window, and it's making the room really hot. So my camera is dying, my battery is expanding, which is not good. So I need to use my bedroom, because my bedroom is on the other side. So I'm facing, I believe I'm facing north. Yeah, I'm facing north, so I don't have to worry about the sun. It's very warm, it's very cool here on this side, and there's also fan running. But obviously it's anyway, So just want to get this done. Let's keep going reading, right? So I was also saying that the Trump, that the market was also saying that if they don't attack Maduro, Trump would invoke the War Powers Act against the country by that date. The indictment says, okay. So the indictment says that the aftermarket several relatively small purchase of US shares of less than $100 apiece, $100 apiece. Van Dyck sharply exerted the monetary value of these wages, with more than $26,000 in bets made on January 2nd, one day before Maduro was captured. On January 3rd, just hours after the US military apprehended Maduro and transported him to the USS Iowa gym, a photography of Canon Kevin Dirk was taken and subsequently uploaded to Van Dyck's Google account. The indictment says, a photography depicted Van Dyck on what appears to be the deck of a ship at the sea at sunrise, wearing US military fatigues and carrying a rifle, standing alongside 3 other individuals wearing US military fatigues. This is the indictment says. After his bets paid off, netting him a return of 12 times the amount he wagered, Van Dyck allegedly sent most of his winnings to a foreign cryptocurrency vault before depositing them into a new online brokerage account, the DOJ says, which matched the amount when news outlets reported an unusual trading in Maduro-related contracts on the bond market, which matched the amounts detailed in the indictment wagered and won by Van Dyck. Van Dyck then took steps to conceal his identity as the trader in Maduro and Venezuela's related markets, the DOJ said. So on or about January 6, 2026, for example, Van Dyck asked Polymarket to delete his Polymarket account, falsely claiming that he had lost access to the email address to which the account had been associated, the DOJ said. That same day, Van Dyck changed the email registered to his cryptocurrency exchange account to an email address that was not subscribed to in his name, and which he had created on or about December 14, 2025. Trump, when asked by a reporter at the White House on Thursday about Van Dyck's arrest, said, "Well, I don't know about it, but was he betting that they would get him or they wouldn't get him?" Is that even a question? When he was told that Van Dyck was allegedly betting that the American military forces would capture Maduro, Trump said, "That's like Pete Rose betting on his own team." Really, bro? Really, Trump? Pete Rose, they kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Okay? Now, if he bet against his team, that would be no good. But he bet on his own team. Trump said, "I will look into it." When a reporter noted there have been other allegations of insider trading on prediction markets about the Iran war, I mentioned about this, Trump said, the whole world unfortunately has become somewhat of a casino. This is Trump. I mean, this. When the reporter noted that there has been other allegations of insider trading on prediction markets about the Iran war, Trump said, this is Trump, he said, the whole world unfortunately has become somewhat of a casino. And so I'm not making this up. Like the world is in a casino. Like we don't know the casino world, right? And you look at what's going on. This is Trump, and you look at what's going on all over the world, in Europe and every place. They are doing these betting things. Trump said, "I was never much in favor of it. I don't like it conceptually, but it is what it is. I'm not happy with any of that stuff. This is like a response from a 2-year-old kid when they ask about the very complex stuff. Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., is both an investor and a paid advisor to body market. So, let me repeat this. Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., he is both an investor in and a paid advisor. So he's not paid, but he's an advisor. So he's an investor, of course. He doesn't have to be paid, but he's an advisor to body market. Body market also does. Body market is the one that the military guy Van Dyke betted on whether Mr. Maduro or not. Okay. The New York Times noted in a report in January. Acting Attorney General Todd Branch in a statement on Van Dyke's arrest said, "Our men and women in uniform are trusted with classified information in order to accomplish their mission as safely and effectively as possible, and are prohibited from using this highly sensitive information for personal gain." Widespread access to prediction markets is a relatively new phenomenon, but federal laws predicting national security information fully apply, he said. Okay, this is crazy. This is crazy that it's going on right now. And so you have the elections. Okay, Karachi finds and suspends 3 congressional candidates for betting on their own elections. Okay, so 3 congressional candidates wagered on outcomes of their own elections on Karachi, according to prediction market, which said Wednesday that it fined and suspended the men from their platform for 5 years. It is the latest high-profile cases of alleged inside trading on prediction markets, including Karachi and Poly Market, 2 which are also somewhat owned by Trump's family members. Okay, which have brought bipartisan scrutiny from Congress and calls for stricter regulations of their websites where people can put money on just about anything. Actually, I want to try out. I want to try out. I've never been able to gamble before. I don't like gambling. It's against my values, against my religion, also it's against my beliefs. But if I have to gamble, I can actually win because I know the outcome almost about anything, right? Anything in the government. So, Karashi's disciplinary documents named Mark Moran, who is running as an independent in Virginia's U.S. Senate races, Ezekiel Enriquez, who ran in Texas Republican primary for U.S. House seat, and Matt Klein, a Democratic state Senate running for U.S. House seat in Minnesota. Okay, so Klein and the leagues both placed bets less than $100 related to their own candidacy. Karash said that Moran said on social media that he traded $100 on himself. Okay, it's very small, but these relatively small bets for mammoth wagers on prediction markets earlier this year that raised eyebrows. In one case, an anonymous poly market user made a $400,000 profit in January on a wager that former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro would soon be out of office. Obviously, I read about this earlier. So this is going on right now. I mean, this is real stuff, right? What about manipulation on a thermostat? Okay, this is from Wall Street Journal. I believe so. Wall Street Journal. Did a mystery trader tamper with the temperature to win big on pre-market? This is a question that reads. This is the headline. Alright. Okay, I may have to pay to read this, but I'm already heading here. Temperature reading to a Paris airport and a mystery trader of $21,000 and spark probing 2 alleged tampering with weather stations. So somebody on airport in Paris, they did bet whether the temperature will be a specific number on that day. But what if I work on the airport and I can just change the numbers? And I can just say, hey, today's gonna be sunny, up to 60 degrees Fahrenheit in Paris. And who's gonna agree with me? Who's gonna argue? I mean, look at this one over here. Okay. This is the weather in DC, right? This is the weather in DC. This weather you see here is controlled by Israel. Is the people who handle the weather changes is the Israeli companies. Right? If I work in this company, I can just change the numbers and say it's gonna be sunny today, it's gonna be raining today, like it's gonna be raining today, right? So these things are going on right now, and it's real thing, real stuff. Okay. So when I say this is not a good idea, this is not fair, it's weird. This is not fair for the average American wagers or the people do betting. Then this Democrat guy he passed the resolution. He introduced a resolution. The Senator Skip Adam from the Democrats from California. He's a committee on the agriculture, nutrition, and the forestry. So it's not part of like finance, anything like that. He introduced a resolution S4160 on prediction markets gambling act. Okay, so he treats prediction markets as gambling because gambling is regulated. This is complicated, right? Gambling is regulated. Okay, you can we know gambling is real. You can gamble, but this is more regulated. Casino is more regulated. But when it comes to prediction market, predicting the binary of outcome, something coming up, it's not regulated. It's brand new. It just came out during COVID, so it's not really like highly known at the moment. Okay, so it was introduced, but I don't know if it's already voted on, but it's waiting to go to the Senate, then to the House, then to President. They get signed to law. But it's crazy. Okay, so let me read the description here. So this act may be cited as the Prediction Market Gambling Act. Okay, so prohibition on sporting and casino style event contracts. The definition: the term casino style game means any game traditionally found in a casino, including slot machine games, video poker, blackjack, roulette, craps, any other casino-style table game, bingo, lottery, and any stimulation of any of those games. Sports events or athletic competition. The term sports event or athletic competition means any live or virtual context involving physical activity or skill in which individuals or teams compete and perform determines on outcome or statistical results, including amateur, collegiate, and professional sports. Okay, so remember that you can actually bet on sports, but people who do play sports, they're not allowed to do sports betting, because if I can't do sports betting that my team is going to lose, I can choose not to win, choose not to score. Okay. Prohibition. What's going on here? The notwithstanding any other provision of this section, no agreement, contracts, or transaction relating to any sporting event or athletic competition or any casino-style game may be listed or made available for procuring or trading on or through or registered entity. The rule of construction: nothing in this act shall be construed to preempt any state law or rule that regulates or prohibits any agreement, contract, or transaction relating to any sporting event or athletic competition or any casino-style game. Alright, so this is the law that's being put in law. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Like always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are into predictive market, if you are a government official, this is not fair, this is not good, you should know this, right? If you are a regular bettor or regular wager, you are paying manipulated, you are being taken advantage of by these guys, and it's not fair for you, and you can be homeless next day. Okay, thanks for watching. Always ciao ciao, adios, pass, bye bye.